Hey guys, I'm Tatum.
And this your girl Milan.
And welcome to another episode of the Black Girl Boss Podcast. Whoop, whoop, whoop.
What episode, Tatum?
28, okay.
When I was recording with Marcus today, I was, of course, shouting out the podcast, saying I'm a co-host, and we're on episode, I said, ooh, Tatum's going to kill me. I said, we're on episode 29, 28. I was like 28, 29.
I just looked it up on my phone because I knew you was going to ask me. I tried to get away from
it. You try to be ahead of the game. I respect your hustle. I respect your hustle.
Yeah, so today, you guys, we're going to be talking about developing your personal brand. And this is actually, I think I'm going to probably record a little something about what Black Girl Boss University is. So by the time this episode come out, y'all will hear it. I'll put it in the beginning of the show. But this is something I actually cover in Black Girl Boss University about developing your personal brand, because I feel like a lot of people don't take that seriously. Like, you feel like you have a business, so it's all about branding your business, not realizing how important your personal brand is. Especially these days, like, people buy from people as opposed to just buying from a company. You can't hide behind a company anymore if you want people to invest in you. Like, it's extremely important that you take your personal brand seriously. So before we hop into it, Milan, how would you define a personal brand?
Your personal brand is your image, your name, it's you. Like I always say, you are your brand, so you're a walking brand. So any and everything that you do is looked at towards your brand. So if I'm out here wilding out, it's like, oh, that's you management CEO. You're no longer just Milan Mobley. You're something after that. So your personal brand is your image.
I agree. And I even, I do a lot of workshops on this, especially with like college students and teenagers. And I always tell them, like, your personal brand is what people are saying about you when you're not in the room. Mm-hmm. And a lot of people challenge me on that because they'll be like, well, it's not about what people say, yada, yada, yada. But of course, people want to talk about you, whether you're doing good or bad. Like, that's a given. But some things you got to kind of take responsibility for. If everybody's calling you messy, you probably call it red. Like, you know what I'm saying? So,
if you messy.
What'd you say?
If you messy, then you messy. If more than one person is saying it, it's probably true.
Exactly. So it's your job as the controller of that brand to I guess, control that conversation. Like, and I think that's that's something I learned in PR that I always took with me, is that it's your job to shape the public's perception. And it's the same thing with your personal brand. It's your job to shape the public's perception. Like, like me, let's say dating. I don't have a problem with being approached or dealing with F-boys because I don't attract that. There's nothing about me, my reputation, anything to make somebody of that low of a caliber think that it's okay to talk to me. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's not even a conversation because that's already been developed. Same thing with my personal brand. I think I kind of tiptoe on the line of people. People, I don't want to say are intimidated by me sometimes, but people don't know how to always approach me.
Okay.
And I've decided, just based off of being in those situations, that I think it's a level of respect. So mm-hmm. People are trying to like choose how they come at me wisely.
Yeah.
Because it's like, you never know with certain people. Like, I think I'm pretty down to earth. There's very few things people could do that make me just like wild out, or, I'm not easily offended. So I don't know. I just think people should just be themselves, because I think I'm a pretty down to earth person. But I have noticed that when it comes to me encountering people, they're kind of timid in a sense. And I like that in a sense of where I want my personal brand to be something that's respected enough to where you ain't gonna come at me crazy.
Absolutely.
But I still want my personal brand to be down to earth enough to where you feel like you can come and talk to me. I don't know. So I think it's something that the way people react to me or the way I interact with other people is teaching me what that perception of me is. So now I feel like for me, it's in my hands to kind of mold it to exactly where I want it to be. But what about you? Like, what did you start doing to take your personal brand into your own hands?
Girl, so much. Remember when I had put that PSA out there telling everybody I was thinking about changing my Instagram name?
Yeah.
That was like one of the first things like into the new brand. Like Hey Lawn was undergrad. So it was like, at that time, yeah, it was a brand, but it was like time to go into that actual personal professional brand. So taking it into my own hands was like, okay, now you're going to call me Milan Mobley. Like, you're going to know my name is Milan Mobley. Hey, Lon was cool. People call me Lon like you call me Lon. People call me Lon that know me. But it was okay, no, I need people to say Milan Mobley. That's who I am. That's my name. That's on my birth certificate, not Lon. So the first step to that was, of course, changing my name, my Instagram name, where so many people follow. After that, it was definitely, my pictures were cool. Of course, just Instagram pictures. But then I started actually looking at them like, okay, you did change your Instagram name. Now your pictures have to look a certain way. Now your pictures have to be on a Canon camera, not an iPhone 7. So that was like the thing. And then a really big thing, and that's just like the image part as far as visual, but a really, really big thing that I have been doing since my junior year into my senior year of undergrad, and it was from one of my friends, Quentin. He told me, what you need to do running for SJ president is you need to spread positive rumors. People are going to talk about you anyway, but who's to talk about you the best but you? Where are those positive rumors? People are going to say anything. They can say something negative, they can say something positive, but if you're going to put it out there about yourself, at least let it be something factual and true, and it's positive, because that's who you are. So ever since then, I spread positive rumors about myself, things that are factual, things that are true, things that are proven, but still a positive thing, because people will throw dirt in your name for no reason. So, okay, you go ahead and throw dirt while I spread the positivity, and it's more likely they're going to believe me because coming from myself and it's factual and it can be proven. What you're saying, they like, okay, maybe it's true, maybe it's not, but then they see no receipts. So they're like, okay, whatever, we're not listening to you. So spreading those positive rumors about myself definitely helped me take my brand into my own hands, because it doesn't matter what you have to say. I don't really care. Anybody, you can say whatever you want to say about me, but at the end of the day, I'm going to say what it is, what's true, and I'm going to put it out there first.
So how did you go about spreading those positive rumors?
What did I do when I was in undergrad? I have to go back to undergrad today. We had a flyer that was made, and our flyer had our accolades on it. Things that we had accomplished, things that we had done. Then I would start doing personal Instagram posts, just, about my time undergrad, things that I've done, who I am. And it was personal things, not so personal things. And then like now, definitely personal things that I have to put out. Like you do it all the time. You go up there and you post something and you talk about your journey. That's a positive rumor, whether it may be a hardship or not. That's something positive because you're not afraid to reflect on it. It's helping somebody else. So posting more about personal things, getting on Instagram Live more, talking really deep and personal with my followers who tune in about my personal life and about things that's going on. So that was like a really strong way that I've started spreading those quote unquote positive rumors.
Yeah, I think that's a really good point, because even with me, I'm, of course, always transparent about my entrepreneurial journey, have no problem, like you said, talking about the hardships and things like that. But one thing that I realized is that my personal brand has to evolve. Like it cannot stay the same. As I grow, my personal brand grows. That's how we stay true to who we are. And so something I was noticing though was people were getting a little too comfortable with me. So with me, it's like if we meet in person or we meet at an event or something like that, I have no problem with the, hey girl, how you doing? Oh, I love this that you did, yada, yada, yada. Like the chill conversations like that are cool in person. But when it comes to business and you trying to work with me, hold on now. That's where it switches a little bit, because it's like,
right.
Yeah, but I'm the type, even in like my emails, I'll say like, hey girl, hey, like I'll stay true to my personality, of course, but at the same time, there has to be some type of professionalism. Like, when it's time for you to give me your credit card information and pay for something, I'm not really trying to sit here and talk about your car broke down and all that other stuff. Like, you know what I mean? I'm not about to sit here and kiki with you about that. It's not about that. It's about business at this point. We can socialize later, but right now it's about business. So that's what I felt like I started experiencing, was people were getting too comfortable with me to the point where I felt like I wasn't getting the professionalism that I deserve as somebody who is very good at what I do. Even with my social media, now I talk way more about the business strategy part of what I do, more so than my journey. I'm gonna always talk about my journey. Like, this is what the podcast is for. That's why I do Instagram stories so much. Like, you're gonna always see the journey, but I'm gonna blog and do events and things like that based around the strategy part, because yeah, we can be cool, we could kiki, but don't forget that I have an expertise and I'm pretty damn good at it. You know what I'm saying? Right. And in order for us to work together and me to help you get to where you're trying to be in your business, you got to pay for that. So I just think that that's something, and I even posted something, it was like the inspiration is free, but the tools and strategies are sold separately. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's facts. That's how this thing works. So, but with the whole personal brand thing, I think everybody that's listening, you really have to take all of that into consideration. Like, what do you want to be out there about yourself? What don't you want to be out there? What do you do? And how can what's out there influence people to invest in you and not just like or follow? Because that's not putting any money in our pocket. Milan, what are some things that you think people should take with them so that they can start developing their personal brand?
Let's take for your positive brand, for your personal brand. One would be to evaluate the person and who you are now, and then really consider and think about who you want to be. So if you don't like anything that's happening right now, then you need to take the step of cleaning it up. So first step, clean it up. If it's a lot of stuff on social media that you have out there, you half naked, you partying a little too much. Yes, people have seen it, but don't allow your new followers to see it. Clean that aspect up. Start those positive rumors. Start posting more about things that's going on in your life, the testimonies, providing inspiration to others. Be that person. Another step would be, it really depends on which route you're trying to take for your brand and who you are, but your Instagram names, your social media handles. If you're in a professional business or you just want to brand yourself, period, because you're just like, oh yeah, I just want to look better, but just make sure your Instagram name is something professional and all social media handles are something professional, because that's one way people will be able to take you serious. And that Boo Boo Kitty 24 is not appealing for a personal brand or somebody that wants to be taken seriously. It's just not it. So those are my 3 tidbits. So clean it up, positive rumors, and get those Instagram, social media handles how you want people to be perceiving you or calling you, for that matter.
I would also add that your personal brand is not just online. It's in person too, because you never know who's paying attention. You know, you should take pride, and this is something I got to work on myself, because I'm not the type, the way I look 24, like most days out the week, like, it was this video and I thought it was so funny. And this girl, she was saying like, how like 4 days out of the week, she looked like a man. Like, that's me. I be in the house, wig off, my plaits in my head, glasses on, probably got a scarf on or something, chilling, looking to hide cuss word mess, like chilling. And if I got to go to the store, I'm not trying to beat my face to go to the store. But now it's like, all right, it's something that I have to do, because I never know who I'm going to run into. So I have to make sure that I present myself to the public a certain way. And even like my boyfriend made a comment yesterday, we was out. He was like, why every time we go somewhere, you know somebody? And that's how it's getting for me now. So it's like, damn, imagine if I came out here looking crazy. I'd have ran into somebody like, ooh, I seen Tatum in person and she looked crazy.
And I'm glad you said that, because that's happened to me one time. Like, I was in class and one lady called me, like, I know who you are. You know who I am? And then she told me where she knew me from, Instagram, and she was saying, oh, you know, this is your brand, yada, yada, yada. But I didn't think she was going to recognize me, because I definitely had on a hat, some sweatpants. My eyebrows was not done. Everybody knows I keep my eyebrows fleeky. Eyebrows was not done. Pin curls in my hair with the hat on. I was just like, nobody's gonna recognize me, and if they do, this gonna be so embarrassing. And she's like, no, I know who you are. And I'm just like, you know what, Milan, you gotta get this together, because you cannot have your hair out, face beat, eyebrows fleeky on social media, and then walk out here with this hat on, looking like you just crawled out of somebody's dumpster. That's not gonna happen. Looking like a little boy. So yeah, I definitely agree. See, you gotta keep that image in person up to par. You gotta come out there looking like you want to run into $1 million.
Right. And that don't even mean like, you gotta wear heels and all of that every single day, but just look nice. Like, just present yourself as if you were going to meet somebody that day. The same way you would do the most if you was going on a date, or if you was going to brunch with your girls, or y'all was about to go wherever. That's how you should present yourself every single day. And it's something you got to just get used to, because I ain't used to it. I don't really feel like doing all that. Like, I would prefer to just wash my face, be clean, put on some sweats and some slides, and go do what I gotta do. But I can't do that. So definitely take pride in how you present yourself to the world. And even to take it a step further, not even with just the way that you look, make sure your energy is right.
Yeah.
I really have to, sometimes if I'm not in the mood for something, I got to make sure if I'm tired, I need to get some coffee, or if I need to listen to something that's going to pump me up, like I need to get in the mindset so that I can make sure that the energy that I portray is right. Because I don't want nobody to meet me and be like, oh, Tatum is such a bitch. Like, I don't want them to feel like that, because I'm not. I may have just been in the mood that day. You know what I'm saying? So I need to make sure that the energy that I even give off in person is right. Because I remember I've met a lot of people within a short period of time who would tell me like, it's just something about you. Like, it's just something about your energy. Your spirit is just so great. And that, to me, that's the best compliment I could ever get, because that's who I want to present to people when I'm out. I don't really, how I feel doesn't matter. I'll deal with that when I get home. But just make sure that you're really putting out good energy too, because otherwise people are going to remember that. And unfortunately, people remember the negative more than they remember the positive. So make sure that not only with your appearance, but the energy that you portray is positive vibes too. Also add to your nonverbals, the things that you don't pay attention to. Like, some people just have RBF, like that resting bitch face. I'm like that too. So I have to make a conscious effort to make sure that, let me think about something that forces me to smile. Let me make sure I have like a small smile on my face. Like, these things, if they don't come natural to you, are things that you really have to work on. Like Tish said last week, it's not good enough to be like, that's just how I am. You have to do the work and be intentional about putting your best self forward at all times when it comes to your personal brand, because those are all things that go into that. Or if you're the type of person that just got a nasty attitude, nobody's going to want to invest in your business. Nobody's going to want to hear what you got to say when you ready to be a boss, but you was just being rude and disrespectful a day ago. Like, you can't switch it on and off. You are your brand. So you need to make sure that you're putting your best foot forward at all times. So again, make sure you look the part. Make sure your energy is right. Make sure those nonverbals are on point. I don't know, Milan, you got anything else?
No, I just agree. Like, I do have our resting bitch face, RBF, but people always say, oh, you look so mean, but you're so sweet. Like, I love your energy. Like you say, your energy, you're so positive. I love your vibe. But if I didn't know you, that face would be killer. So I would hear that a lot in undergrad. Like, oh, you have to smile more. But I'm like, nobody walks around smiling like this. And I know we're not supposed to say that's just the way I am. But that's just my face. I'm sorry. I can't help it. If I was to smile 24/7, I would probably get a cramp in my cheeks. And then I have to go to the hospital and I have to do surgery to release my muscles, because nobody walks around smiling like that all the time. I don't believe it. I just don't. But if I encounter someone and they're like walking, past me, I'm not just going to be like, resting bitch face. I'm going to smile, give a smile, whatever. But I'm not just going to sit there all stale patty. But yeah, no, it's very important to mind your body language, I guess you can say, your body language and your expressions, because I know I have very strong facial expressions at times, and that can also damage relationships, especially in a conversation that you may not be so engaged in, or you may not be so or I guess we could say you may not be all in agreement with, your facial expressions can definitely show, and that will be the worst thing ever because they can see it and they will no longer want to work with you. And I ain't damaged it. Now people think that you're a snooty asshole. It's just no. Just no. Work on your body language. Not saying that you have to change your RBF, but in conversations and situations where you are dealing with people, just be mindful of your body language.
Yeah. So have you ever been in a situation where somebody's personal brand turns you off from investing in their business?
Girl, you already know my answer to that. We had that conversation when I had first met this person. She turned me left. I was coming to formally introduce myself and to thank her for her time and everything, and to move on with our business relationship, to see if I could just pick her brain about the PR industry since I was new to it and everything. And the reaction of her was just all the way left. It was just left. She looked at me like I was crazy, like she don't even remember or even communicating with me, and I was just done. And you know what I'm talking about. But that was it for me. And ever since that day, you will not hear me say one positive thing about that one.
Yeah, and that's unfortunate because that's something that I think that person can never really come back from, because it's like, no, your character is wrong. Oh man, I can't stress character enough. Like, when you got character flaws, that mess comes through. Like, people could read all through that. Like, there's even the person we talked about last week that posted the stuff about, I forgot how I masked it last week, but I don't really care about masking it right now, but they had posted something about brokepreneurs. Like, it was about how, I can't even remember the post. It was something about how, like, you're not a real business owner, you're a brokepreneur if you're not making money, or whatever the thing was. I just thought it was real negative. So now, after I saw that, I felt like that was so uncouth that I probably would never even invest in that person. Just because it's like, you kind of like being rude to the same people who would need your services. Like, I just don't understand why that was appropriate. But anyway, I probably would never invest in that person. Like, even though I don't identify with the shade that they was throwing, like, it don't make me feel any type of way about me because I know what I got going on over here. But at the same time, I'm always like, I'm the type of person where I like to stick up for the person that's being bullied. So in any situation where somebody is being put down, I'm automatically on their side trying to help them. That's just me. So in that situation, it was like, I would probably never invest in them. I'll probably side-eye them even when it comes to working with them. I'll probably even tell them how I felt about that just because I just am open like that. But that's a situation that made me be like, I'm not really feeling you as a person. So I'm definitely not going to invest in your business now. And there's somebody else that I've come across, I really wasn't feeling them either. And I think what happens is, and what these two people have in common is that they've both reached a certain level in their business to where they don't necessarily, I don't think anybody needs anybody, but it's kind of like in their mind, I'm just assuming, they may not think they need every single customer or they need every single person to invest in them. So they're okay with pissing some people off. And I really just don't like that. I just don't like when people get to a certain level in their business where they feel like they can just shit on everybody else or people who are trying to still get there. I just really don't like that. But certain things like that will make me not invest in a person. And I'm not the type that's going to bash you. Like, I mean, unfortunately, well, not unfortunately, but we got a podcast, so we're going to talk about stuff. So you're going to hear my opinions on things because of this show. But if we didn't have this show, I would never say anything. I would just politely unfollow, go about my business. Not like that person just wouldn't exist. I wouldn't invest in their business. I'm not going to take the time to talk, like call them out on it. Like, that's not my place. But again, that just shows the power of personal brands. And there's a few people that I've even talked to about certain things, and they like, I'm not buying nothing from her. She XYZ, or no, she did this at this place, and so I'm not really going to buy her products or services. So that just shows how influential it is that your personal brand is. And even when it comes to the opposite. There are people who I might not even really need what they're selling, but I'm gonna buy it just because I want to support them. And I think what they're doing is so awesome, or I think they're such a great person, or they have such great energy, or I just respect them so much. I'm going to just invest in them. And I have people who do that for me. Like, I have friends who will buy stuff from me and they'll be like, hey, just donate that, or just raffle that off. Or people I don't even know will be like, hey, I just bought a ticket for such and such, just give it away. Like, like when you have your personal brand together, when your character's in check, when you're putting yourself out there in a way that is to be respected, then certain blessings are going to come with you. And the same is the opposite as well. If your personal brand isn't together, then, you can have people not want to invest in you. So switching gears from character and personalities, have you ever seen somebody, follow them on social media or met them or whatever, and you had no clue what they did?
Now, Tatum, you know the answer to that one. Hell yeah. I gotta just pause on this one, y'all, because I see this so often. I'm like, that was gonna be too straightforward. Back that up some. Nope. We not doing that today. I was about to give all the tea away. Okay, you see somebody and their bio says author, public speaker, motivational speaker, women empowerment, health and wellness instructor, etc., etc. And then on their page, and this is nothing against my bottle girls, this is nothing against my strippers, but you see them doing just those two things, or you see their rear end every fourth picture of their page or every other picture of their page. But you're an author. What book have you written, sis? The written tales of a bottle girl? The untold tales of a bottle girl? Okay, cool. Where is it at? You say that you're a motivational speaker. Where have you spoken? Besides when you're asking somebody for their credit card in the club. You say, oh yeah, I'm health and wellness. But you don't go to the gym. And all you do is eat Chipotle on your Insta story. I see that so often. And this one particular person that I followed that did that all the time. And it would just make me so upset. I'm an entrepreneur. I have this brand. No, you do not. No, you don't. Stop it. Stop it right there. This is what you do. Say this is what you do. Don't try to clean up, make yourself sound better. Don't make it sound like you're just all in power, all in charge. And that's not what you do. Stop it. And you know exactly who I'm referring to. So I'm going to leave it on that note because this topic makes me agitated as hell. So I'm going to ask you that same exact question. Do you have anyone in particular that you follow or had to unfollow for that reason?
Man, my thing was on mute, so you could not hear me dying. I was over here cracking up. So anyway, to answer that question, yes, but not even just on they are, presenting themselves like every other joint who sell flat tummy tea. What I'm referred to is just people who have no clarity. It doesn't even have to be to that extent, but if you say that you're an entrepreneur, like she said, and there's nothing about your legitimate business on your page, then that's confusing. Or you're trying to sell me something, but I don't see that. Confusing business, you guys, is not good business. If people have to think too hard about what it is what it is that you do, or what it is that you're offering them, they're not going to invest in you. Confusion is just not good. And that even is something that I had to check myself about when it came to what I do. Because, of course, my business started as a youth program for girls. Yes, that's something I still do. But now I'm moving into, I'm a business coach as well. So, and my target audience is millennial Black women entrepreneurs. My target audience for my youth program is the people who write the checks. So administrators, superintendents, people who run nonprofits. So y'all not going to really hear me talk about that part too much on social media, because unless it's on the Queen Academy mentoring page where you might see me posting pictures with my teenagers and stuff. But that's not something I'm going to really talk about on my personal Instagram, because the people who write my checks is not on Instagram. So I'm not to do that. The people who write the checks for, as far as hiring me as a business coach, are on Instagram. So, but one thing I did encounter when this podcast came out is people might hear me talk about my youth program and not know that I was a business coach. But at the same time, my business coaching program launched in May. So this is something relatively new that I just added onto my business. But I had to make sure that I was clear about what it is that I did for this specific target audience. So again, you may be expanding your business. Those who are listening, you may be expanding your business like me, or you may be entering a new business because I know people who have had businesses before, but they're starting a new business. So you may be coming into a new business. So you now have to condition people to what it is that you do now. And that's fine. Just make sure you're clear on exactly what it is that you do. And make sure you have I don't even want to call it an elevator pitch. Make sure you have your sentence of what you do that's very clear. It's not a lot left up to interpretation, and that you can get your point across very quickly on what it is that you do. So confusion, you guys, is not good when it comes to your personal brand. You have to be very clear on who you are, what you do, what you stand for, and all that good stuff. So I don't know, before we hop off this, Milan, do you have anything else to add for the people?
Yes, I do. Stop putting lies in your bio. That's all I can say. It makes us entrepreneurs very upset who actually are out here working very, very hard to establish their brands and going above and beyond to ensure that our brands are growing and actually doing those things that's in our bios. Very upset. It makes us upset. And then we do stuff like this. We have to call you out and talk about it and use you as an example. So stop. If you don't want to be the ass of the conversation, just fix it. That's all I have to say. Tatum already knows it's happening.
Wait, who is you are so passionate over there. Who, like, what? How is somebody lies getting you in your feelings like this?
Because you know who I'm talking about. You know who I'm talking about.
I hope you don't follow this person anymore, because she got you in your feelings for real.
When we end this conversation, I have to tell you why I'm really in my feelings. But we just got to end. Bye, y'all. This been real.
What? Oh my God, that is so funny. Okay, Milan. All right, we had a question. I have to find it. Okay, so since Milan needs to cool off, let's hop into the questions. So this question comes from Tiffy CJ13. She says, "Hey ladies, I'm currently finishing up my undergrad in BA. I'm assuming that's Bachelor of Arts, or that could be a school. I don't know. But she says she's currently finishing up her undergrad. I'm looking into master's programs, but not too sure should I get it in public relations or digital marketing, for I'm gearing up to start a digital marketing firm with over 15 years in tech. I want to make sure my experience and credentials and my winning personality, yes, are a win-win when I approach potential clients. What are your thoughts?" So do you think she should get her master's in PR or digital marketing to start a digital marketing firm?
What is her BA in?
She didn't say. But I figure you have a master's in PR, so you know what that entails more than me.
See, the thing is with PR, like the program I was in was strategic public relations. They have different type of PR programs. So that's a toughie. That's really depends on how deep in PR she wants to go. Like for mine, it was on that corporate level. So it taught me about finances. It taught me about corporate social responsibility, which is very important too. But that's a tough one. It really, yeah, you just have to really look at the programs before you make that decision if you decide to go the PR route, because there's so many different programs, but you don't learn the same thing. Like me learning strategic PR at Georgetown, there is a strategic PR, so we didn't learn the same thing.
because she's trying to start a digital marketing firm, I would not do a master's in PR just because that's going to take you somewhere else that's not really in the focus on what you're trying to do. If there's a master's degree, because digital marketing is so new, I don't know if there's a master's degree for that, but she's doing the research. So again, she knows way more than me. So I think if the option is PR or digital marketing, she should go for digital marketing. But if I was her, I would go for the MBA with like a marketing track and then get a certification in digital marketing specifically. Because the thing about marketing is it's all about the return on investment. All companies at the very end of the day, to make this extremely simple, companies want to make sure that whatever they spend in marketing, they're going to have a return on their investment. And it's your job to craft a marketing strategy that walks people on a path to make them buy. And it makes the company happy because they're making their money back. It makes the customer happy, of course, because you're delivering on what they want. So because marketing is so business sales specific, numbers specific, and PR doesn't involve many numbers, I think you should really focus on an MBA with a concentration in marketing and or get a digital marketing certification. I think that will make you look way better to your potential clients, because then you can communicate that bottom line. And that's what anybody who wants to work with you wants to know. Like, what's the bottom line? If I'm paying you, which is a part of my marketing budget because I'm paying for your services, and I'm paying for whatever it costs for you to do what you do, I need to make that back and then a lot more, so, and I think the best way for you to learn how to communicate that to them is by sticking more so on a business track as opposed to PR.
Yeah, I absolutely agree with that, because PR, like, you have a degree in PRC, so and me having 2 degrees in PR, you have to really be wanting to do PR. Like, don't just get it and not utilize the skills of it. You can just hire somebody to do PR for you. But like Tatum said, if your track is digital marketing, then you need to stick with that. It makes you more appealing to people that you may be in competition with, to others that are in your field. They may not have went that extent to get a master's degree in it. So I am seconding that decision.
Awesome. So we had another question, and I did answer her in our DM, but I want to kind of reiterate the question just in case somebody else might have the same question. Let me find it. So she says, hey, Black Girl Bosses, I recently found your podcast and love it. After listening to several podcasts, I realized that my company, the Beauty Brains and Business Project, that's cute, does similar work to Tatum's original mentoring business. Long story short, I wanted to know how Tatum created contracts with schools for the payment setups, for the after-school program, and payment setups. I'm contemplating hiring a lawyer to create the contracts. I'm also interested in teen life coaching. If you know any great places, please let me know. Just looking for some advice. Thanks in advance. So I'm not going to read my whole answer to her. I'm just going to say that if you want to start a youth program and you're trying to figure out how to get your program into schools and what that process looks like, the first thing you need to do is research the school system and how they work. Some schools, and understand, in addition to that, build some contacts or get to know some people who are actually decision makers, not the teachers who don't know about how the checks are written. I'm talking about the principal, the superintendent, the people who will have the power to give you the position that you're looking for. Talk to those people. But you have to really research the school system. I know PG County, they do a vendor system. So you have to be a vendor within, and DC does the same thing. You have to be a vendor. You have to have insurance. After they approve you, then you can start going to the schools, but then you have to know what schools have the budgets. Then you got to figure out when are they creating these budgets, and strategically reach out to them during that process so that they can actually fit you into their budget. So don't go, and this is where strategy comes in with business. Don't go to just creating like a list of things to check off that you think you should be doing. Figure out what it is that you want. You want to be an after school program. Great. Okay. Who do you want? What school system? let's say PG County, for example. PG County, cool. Now let me figure out, how do people become service providers for PG County? 9 times out of 10, the school systems and most of the stuff is going to be public record. Okay, so let me go to PG County's website and figure out how they solicit service providers. Oh, you have to be a vendor. Okay, so how do I become a vendor? Or what do I need to become a vendor? Okay, I got to fill out an application. I need to get liability insurance with at least $1 million coverage. Okay, so let me go find insurance providers. Who can I get to insure my company so that I can be eligible to be accepted as an after school program provider? Okay, let me go do that. Like, you spending your money on a lawyer to draw up contracts that you don't even need. You know what I'm saying? So I really want everybody that's listening to this, it doesn't matter if you're trying to do an after school program or whatever, just think strategically. And this is something we talk about in Black Girl Boss University as well. Think strategically so that you're not wasting time and wasting money. People always say, oh, I don't have time for this, or I don't have the funds for that. It's probably because you're spending both in places that's not going to get you where you're trying to go. But anyway, that was a tangent. But anyway, if you're trying to get your program into a school, figure out what the school is looking for, what qualifications you need to have, and then do all of that before you start marketing, before you start meeting these people. Because once you meet these people and they're like, say you meet somebody and they're like, oh, we're looking for a youth program. And you're like, oh, shoot, let me hurry up. Oh, dang, now I got to go and let me get my insurance now, or let me go sign up for this. Then you're working backwards, and then they forgot about you. And then the Queen Academy done showed up and took your spot because we was ready before we got there. So just make sure that you are really doing your due diligence and doing your research, especially when it comes to like youth programs, because most of the people that you're trying to target, most of the things that they look for is public knowledge anyway. So that's my long-winded answer to that. And for anybody else that's looking to start a youth program. So as usual, you guys, if you have a question, send us an email, blackgirlbosses.com. Send us an email through the website, or you can send us an email directly at blackgirlbosses@gmail.com, or you can slide in our DMs on Instagram at blackgirlbosses. And Milan, you got some wins of the week you want to share?
I gained a new client this week.
Yeah, cha-ching.
Yes, I gained a new client, so I'm excited about that. What else did I do that was a win? Oh, I had the photo shoot today, so that was a win. I got that out the way, and this is for the 2-year anniversary of the company. Well, I needed new headshots, but some of those pictures actually tie into the 2-year anniversary, which is next week. So for next week's episode, my public relations agency will be 2 years old, so that's a win that we finally made it to 2, and we're actually functioning at 2. You know, it's the difference between having a company at 2 and actually have a functioning company at 2. So I'm excited about that. But other than that, that's really the wins for the week. I don't really have too many. I do have some more, but I'll just save them for another day once I feel, that they're all together.
Okay, awesome. And remember, y'all, 80% of businesses fail within the first year. 90% fail within the first 2. So that's a really big deal to make it to 2 years. So congratulations to you, and much, 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 much more success to you and you management.
Okay. Thank you. So what are your wins?
The one I'm willing to share this week is my tickets for Business Over Breakfast are almost sold out. So I'm really, really excited about that. I'm not the type, events give me anxiety. So I prefer to do like very intimate things. I don't think I ever see myself doing a conference because I just can't. And until I'm in a position where I could just hire somebody to just do everything and I can just show up, then I'm with that. But for right now, these intimate events is going to be it. But I'm doing Business Over Breakfast. I want to sit down with 10 women who are looking for tools and strategies to take their business to the next level. I put it out there. It was invitation only. If you want to invite, send me an email, tatum@thequeenacademy.com, or you can slide in my DMs too. at Tatum Tamia, TATUMTEMIA on Instagram. But the tickets are almost sold out, you guys. So definitely hit me up ASAP so I can send you your invitation. Because once they're done, they're done. I'm not really selling more because I want to keep this very intimate. Of course, we're going to have breakfast, but I'm going to do a training and really share some tips and strategies on how women can really take their businesses to the next level. And the reason why I want it to be so intimate is because I want to give people the individual attention that they need. So not only am I giving you these specific business, how you can really get it to where you're trying to go, or what you need to do to launch that business that you've been sitting on for so long. So Business Over Breakfast is almost sold out. I'm super excited about that. Someone sent me an email yesterday. They're coming from West Virginia, so I thought that was amazing. Somebody to travel that far to come sit down with little old me. So yeah, you guys, that was my win for this week, and also a shameless plug for if you want to sit down with me for Business Over Breakfast, holla at your girl so I can send you an invite. And so that wraps up this week's episode of the Black Girl Boss Podcast, and we will see you guys next week.